So it was like was a band-aid on a fucking gunshot wound.
Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now. Man, the first thing I wanted to talk to you about is sponsorship. Are you sponsored by LRG?
um, I worked with them. I worked with them for this last one. Hopefully, the relationship will continue to build, and you know what I mean. But we work with recently. I just started working with them.
All right, LRG. I think that's pretty big. You know, what I mean, I don't think any fighter has been sponsored by them, have they?
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I mean,
Yeah.
but it was pretty cool. I mean, it was something that that got introduced to me by my management company, and
Mhm.
Paradigm and those guys are pretty tight with them, and they introduced me, and they kind of just sent me a couple stuff, so that was pretty cool, and hopefully we continue to work together moving forward.
For sure, man. And always good to have those types of sponsorships. You know, it goes into like a different lane as well. And also, I saw that you visited like the children's hospital. How was that? How did that come together?
That was through the UFC. That was through the
Okay.
UFC. You know, I'm from Queens, so they were in New York, obviously, and UFC does a lot of charitable work, and they decided to send me and Joanna, over
Mhm.
there, and it was really good, but at the same time, it's bittersweet. It's one of those things where it's it's really it's sad, but at the same time, it's like you're happy you're there to kind of because you can see the kids get happy to see you. They're happy that you're taking the time out your day. It's like a moment for them where nothing. We don't have to focus on all that other stuff, But you see sometimes they're straight out of chemo and stuff, so they're tired. So it's like it's bittersweet. It's emotional. It's like I don't love it, but I understand.
It's good for the kids.
Yeah, it's necessary.
Yeah. And have you done stuff like that before, like charitable stuff with the UFC or just outside of that?
For sure. I mean, I've done the same thing with the UFC prior to. I've done it in Jersey when they came to Jersey. I did it with them before. We go to certain underprivileged communities as well, and help like different like programs, like we go to like boxing gyms and stuff, PALs and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And just, teach kids boxing, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, that kind of stuff. And on my own, whenever I go to Jamaica, you know what I mean? I like to, show up to the homes, group homes and stuff like that and help out, and gyms, bring back stuff to the gyms and stuff like that. So we've done it before. I'm familiar.
Yeah, that's good, man. And also, you were in the hospital for another reason. I seen you got your nose fixed. You know, how was that surgery?
It was good. It was quick. It helped me a lot. I mean, I had this cardio issues, right? But I never really spoke about it too much. I kind of just made it work for myself. Um, I could never really breathe through my nose. Like for the past like 6 years, almost, I couldn't breathe through my nose at all because I had my nasal bridge was collapsed inside. So it's funny because my nose wasn't broken. It's just like the cartilage was just mashed up in there and like blocking, like stopping me from breathing. So I used to snore. I never used to sleep well. I used to always. Sometimes I used to work out, and after I worked out, my eyes would get like super red, like bloodshot red, and I used to always wonder why. And the doctor told me it was lack of oxygen. You know what I mean? So like my blood wasn't as oxygenized as it could be. You know what I mean? I just wasn't running optimally. And after that surgery, hey, training, my energy and training has gone up. My sleep is better. My recovery is better. Um, yeah, everything's good.
Yeah, that's a huge difference, right?
It
Like
is.
sleep, especially.
Oh yeah, and it's funny because I had teammates that had it, and everyone's like, "No, you don't understand, bro. It's such a big difference. It's a massive difference." And I was like, "Bro, how much of a difference could it have been?" I just didn't notice because it's been 6 years, and
Mhm.
it was like, "Yo, it's a game changer. It's a game changer." I'm like, "All right, we'll see." 100% a game changer. I wish I did it like immediately once I had the injury. I wish I did it like a long time ago, but it is what it is.
Yeah, you see in fights sometimes the commentators are like, "Oh, he has his mouth open. He's tired. He
Can't breathe
can't
through
breathe."
the nose.
Yeah.
Can't breathe, bro. I'll be breathing through my mouth in round one. So like it's crazy. Like this camp, I had to kind of like almost relearn to breathe, like to break the
Mhm.
habit of breathing through my mouth because that's what I've been doing, you know. So, but all in all, it's all good now, and cardio's on a whole nother level. I can't wait to go and display that. And I've never really shown cardio issues, so it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, you've never shown cardio issues. I don't remember anything. But yeah, like you said, you got a fight coming up, UFC 296, Muslim Salikhov, the king of kung fu. What do you think of his fighting style?
I think he's incredible. I think he's incredible. I think he's a cool dude. He's been around a long time. You know what I mean? Respectable opponent. Got a lot of respect for him. He's been around, and is what he used to be ranked. I think he was 12 at one point. Lost to Li Jinglang and got booted out the rankings because of inactivity. Um, but he's the real deal, and I don't see a lot of people wanting to fight a guy like that. But for me, I've never really had a reason to not fight anyone. My name is like I show up anytime, any place. You know what I mean? So I think it's a good stylistic matchup, and I think that we're gonna put on one for the fans to remember forever.
Yeah, with the kung fu, there's a lot of spinning techniques like spinning kicks, spinning elbows, spinning back fists. How difficult is it to deal with stuff like that?
Um, it wasn't too bad. I mean, we got a lot of guys that do that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? At a high level, luckily. I got a ton of taekwondo guys and high level kickboxers that were just in my gym anyway. So yeah, it wasn't too hard finding teammates and sparring partners to kind of mimic.
What do you have to look at though? You know what I mean? Like I talk to fighters about, sparring and they're looking at like the shoulders or their torso. They're not really looking at the face. Some guys are looking at the eyes. You know what I mean? Like there's everybody's looking at different things. Like, is there telltale signs to spinning techniques?
For sure. Sometimes just foot position. You know what I mean. I'm not really looking at his eyes. I'm not really looking at his any particular thing, one part of his body. I'm trying to see the whole picture. You know what I mean. So I'm mostly just focused on my. As a long fighter, I'm mostly just focused on my range, where I can hit him and where I can't be hit. That's the main focus. I'm not really watching his hands because the hands collide, eyes collide. You know what I mean. I'm just range managing properly and just getting off techniques to disrupt him. So I'm looking for disruptions as much as I can and just misdirections. And yeah, I'm not really focused on any particular part of his body.
I'm gonna go a little backwards. Chris Curtis was fighting Joaquin Buckley, and I tweeted out like, "Yo, the defense looks pretty slick." But I'm not like a professional fighter, so when I see it, I think it's slick. And then you responded by saying, "It's not really the defense." Like you said something back, and I was just like, "Oh, I just gotta
I,
shut up."
I don't even remember. I don't even remember. I replied to your tweet.
No, I think you just replying in general because everybody was saying like they were showing the video of like Chris Curtis like defending the punches and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
you're saying like Buckley wasn't very good at even like hiding anything that he was doing.
I don't remember. Damn, I gotta look at it. Go.
Yeah, but you sometimes you do have those types of tweets where you kind of point out like technical things that
Mhm.
average fans would have no idea. They would not see it watching the fight.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's important. I think it's important for fans to be educated sometimes because my I'm big on like just because a fighter takes a loss doesn't mean he's not good. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean that he didn't know what he's doing or he sucks or whatever. You know what I mean? So like I can also recognize that the better fighter doesn't always win. You know what I mean? Hey, it's fighting. Anything can happen. Opportunistic. You know what I mean? It's about seizing opportunity and who can implement their game plan the best. Because at this level, it's a game of inches. You know what I mean? Cliche, but it is what it is. It's true. And I think it's important for fans to know what they're looking at. Instead of just blurting out toxicity. And you know what I mean?
And also one thing that I noticed in some fighters is they fight out of character against certain styles. It's like they
Mhm.
get lured into like trying to show the fans that hey, I
Yeah,
can do that with this high level guy in this particular aspect of his game, right?
absolutely, absolutely. And I've said that in the past. Like, you ever notice like and I've actually heard Bernard Hopkins talk about this. And I forget it was some documentary. I forget the name of it, but it was pretty. Damn, what's the name of that documentary? It was it was a Lil B Hop was in it. But anyway, whatever. But it was a documentary on Netflix, and he talks about how disarming someone, right? How you can disarm a fighter, right? A big bad bully that looks like a beast, and he's doing this and he's doing that, and you see him fight someone, and someone kind of just that one fighter with that specific style kind of just gives him trouble. And that particular style, he like disarmed him, and it's like, damn, you made this guy look like nothing. How do you make this beast look like nothing? And I'm so fascinated with fighters that can do that. And I think that it's important to study the guys and break them down and kind of approach fighting in that way more so than coming out of character and just approaching it as if it is a fight. Yes, we're all tough. You all have grit. You could bite down and just swing your arms. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, yeah, it's an art. We're martial artists at the end of the day, and you gotta approach it as such. So like, if you notice, like sometimes you see two guys that are beasts. They fight each other, crazy dog fight, back and forth, war, boom. Like this guy's bleeding, the other guy's bleeding, and it's just madness, right? It's just craziness. Fight of the year, right? And then you see one of those guys fight another guy, and that maybe they may even win. But the fight doesn't look like that. Why doesn't the fight look like? Because one fighter just won't allow it. He's implementing a game plan. He's not fighting out of character, and he's just like, if you want me to brawl with you, you gotta earn it. And that's how I approach fighting. If you want me to brawl with you, you gotta earn that shit. That's how I see it. I'm not gonna just come out there and go crazy for the fans. Yeah, for sure. We could put on my way of going crazy for the fans is I want to do shit that's cool. I want to get my techniques that I've learned in the gym that I spent all my time and sacrifice to learn to get it off, so I could watch it back and be like, damn, that was fire. You know what I mean? And no one's gonna say that. No one's gonna say that. Everyone's gonna be like, oh, no, on to the next, just get the dub, and I'm a competitor, and I gotta go. That's true, but it's like for me, I do watch back the fights because I did that, and I'm proud of that because I spent X amount of time in my life, sacrificed time for my family to work on these things and perfect these things, and that's it.
Yeah, I've seen you in a couple fights where I'm thinking like he's putting something together. Like I could see you like formulating something in your mind, in your movement, and then you're like trying to set it up. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, man. It takes two to tango.
100%. And then sometimes a guy has a game plan that gives you trouble. For instance, I fought Wellington Thurman last,
Mhm.
and we got the win. I did what I had to do to get the win, but he gave me trouble. And how he gave me trouble, he had a specific game plan that he stuck to, and it was like a monkey wrench, and it was up to me to kind of figure out on the fly in a pressure cooker situation how to get around that. And that's fighting, man. It's chess. It's high pressure, high stakes chess.
Yeah, you got the win against Wellington Turner, but before that, you were on a four-fight win streak and you fought Jack Della. Took
Mhm.
that L in that one. Did that mess with you any like mentally?
No, not really. I mean, the thing is, a lot of people are telling me I shouldn't have took that fight, but it is what it is in the past. It's one of those things, man, where you make a mistake. I mean, I gave a guy a chance. I flew across the country on 6 weeks notice or 5 weeks notice or wherever it is, and it is what it is. You know what I mean? He caught me. I zig when I was supposed to zag. He's a tremendous fighter. I don't want to take anything away from the win, but I know if we run it back, it's not gonna go like that. You know.
Yeah, people don't understand that travel to Australia is not nice. It's
Nah,
not good at
I,
all.
I had a shit ton of issues going. I'm not blaming that on the
Yeah.
situation. I'm just saying that shit was crazy.
Yeah.
But
Just extra factors, man. That's all it is.
but it was cool. It was cool, and
Yeah.
and it was also a great um it was a great opportunity for me to kind of remind fans that you know what I'm about. Even though it didn't go the way I would want it to go, but hey, um bounce back was better. Bounce back was
Yeah.
crazy. So
Yeah. You gotta take chances, man. Like, like a lot of the top guys, even Volk, I mean, look at the 10 days. It
yeah,
didn't go his way, but it could have. You never know, unless you take a chance.
and I remember I was telling this to Akamoto. I was telling him, I was like, man, listen, man. Sometimes you got to be twice as better. It is what it is. Everyone's like, oh, you should be in the rankings. Why are you not ranked? You know what I mean? Arguably, like, anyone else, you should be and I don't care about that. You know what I mean? For me, it's more so like, listen, I'm not this guy. I'm not that guy. That guy's in the rankings off 2 fights. That's his thing. You know what I mean? I'm Randy Brown. It is what it is. Sometimes you got to be twice as better, twice as good. And if you believe that you're twice as good, I'm in the UFC for a reason, right? Because I am one of the best in the world, and I believe that. So if I got to fight an extra guy coming up behind me that nobody wants to fight just to get what I needed, then I'm gonna do that. People may frown upon that, but it is what it is.
Are you still going down to Philly, working with those boys down there?
Yeah, yeah, I'm there every week.
Yeah, man, they got a solid camp, man. Well, you're a part of the crew as well. It's just they're doing things.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And there's also some youngins coming up that's some bad boys, man, that y'all gonna
Mhm.
see. So John Marquez is an exceptional coach. You know what I mean? He's building a solid team over there, man, and you know definitely pouring into me and helping me out. So shout out to them.
Good, good. And this fight with Muslim, man, you know, I think a lot of people are gonna expect a striking battle because that's what Muslim does, and you do like to box, you do like to stand, but it goes everywhere. This is a fight. Like, what do
Mhm.
you see?
Um, I see me getting the W. I see Muslim coming out strong. He tends to gas in the second, slow
Mhm.
down. Um, he's 39 years old, but he's still a vet. You know what I mean? He's still dangerous, still highly skilled. But at the end of the day, I think I'm younger, I'm more skilled, and I'm more well rounded. So this fight goes anywhere I want it to go, I think, and I get it done.
Maybe he needs that nose surgery like you got, so he can get his cardio.
Maybe because that thing looks mangled.
Yeah, it does. It does. Looks
Yeah,
like that. It looks like one of those turnpikes. You know what I mean? Like where you know, like
crazy. It's crazy. But
yeah,
hey, it's been broken a couple times. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
after my fight, yeah, I plan on breaking that nose again. So I'm on it.
And UFC 296, man, there's a lot of high profile welterweight fights on the card, man. It's like the welterweight pay per view, basically. How you looking at all these fights, man?
Man, just I'm focused on my guy, but just
Mhm.
know, after my fight, there's guys on that card that I know that I'm gonna be seeing in the future.
Yeah.
And Ian Garry in particular, I do think Luque is gonna beat him. And
Mhm.
then, when Luque beats him, I think that's a great matchup for me. Either way, I'll fight the winner or the loser. I don't care. But I would love a rematch with Luque or a fight with Ian. I think that would be great. Stylistically, me and Ian would be a good fight.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I was looking at that too. I was like, man, you get the win. You know, even if he wins, that could be a possibility of a fight. Yeah, Ian Garrett, he got kicked out of a gym in the middle of a training camp. That's crazy to me. Like, how do you like? There's so much going on with him. Have you been seeing all this stuff?
Yeah, I have, man. Yo, that whole WAG thing is wild.
Yeah.
I try not to get involved in none of that shit,
No.
but honestly, it is what it is. Yo, these guys, he seems like one of those dudes. I mean, he just seems like one of those dudes. I mean, you see how he came after he came after what's the guy? The welterweight. The other welterweight
Oh,
that
Jeff Neal, like he
Jeff
got
Neal.
the shirt. Yeah, mugshot.
He came after Jeff Neal, then he came after the other Neal, Magny.
Yeah.
I'm like for like just weird stuff, you know what I mean? And listen, I like the dude when it comes to like him promoting himself and doing those things, but he just a little weird. People that kind of you can see just kind of dweebish, and it is what it is. It's to each his own. You know what I mean? And
Dweebish.
dudes like that gonna end up in situations like that. They're gonna end up in cuck situations like that.
For sure. A big name I was looking at that's probably gonna sign with the UFC is MVP, and I was looking at you. I was like, does that fight interest you, man? That's a solid fight. It'd be a good introduction to the welterweight division.
Yeah, that's a great fight. I think that's a fight for me maybe later down the
Mhm.
line because a fight like that happens. Somebody has to take a L and somebody has to take a back seat. You know what I mean? So I'd hate to see someone like and I like a guy like that. And I do think that the competition level is very different in the UFC than it is in Bellator. You know what I mean? So I like to see him build and do what he has to do in Bellator in the UFC if he does sign because it's not official yet.
Yeah, he says he's flirting with them, which means most likely he's gonna be signing with them. USADA, man, they're leaving Drug Free Sports International. That's the company that's coming in. They do the NCAA, NFL, NBA. Um, what do you think of this, man? Do you like this change?
Um, I'm open minded to it. I'm
Mhm.
open minded to it because I wasn't the biggest fan of USADA anyway. USADA was USADA was a band-aid on a fucking gunshot wound. You know what I'm saying? Like, dudes be just sauced up. And I'm like,
Yeah.
USADA came to my house and like I wasn't here. I put in my thing that I'm gonna be in Jamaica. I'm out the country at the
Mhm.
time. You know what I mean? In my whereabouts. I'm like, all right. They call me while I'm in Jamaica. I was like, Randy, I'm outside, and I'm like, bro, I'm out the country. I'm not even home. And he's like, oh, and you did. We see you did log that, da da da, and
Mhm.
yeah, I did. And they're like, all right, we'll send someone out there. We're going to work with water to get someone out there for you. And I was out there for a month. All right, they did
No
not show up.
way.
I could have been doing anything. I could have been doing anything. Then they just showed up back when I came back. I'm like, so that's how it is. If you in another country,
Yeah.
it, it just is what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it seems like it's kind of unfair to a lot of the fighters, but like you said, it is what it is. Hopefully, these new guys come in and they do a job. But when I look at the NFL, I don't know, man. A lot of those dudes in the NFL don't look clean either.
yeah, but they need that. I think more so. I guess right. And it's
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't. I can't
yeah.
speak. I don't know how it's gonna be in the UFC. We'll see what
Well,
happens.
hopefully, yeah. Yeah, it's confusing, but man, appreciate the time, man. December 16th, UFC 296, Las Vegas, right? It's in Las Vegas.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Mobile
It would have been
arena.
cool if you guys are fighting in that dome, right? That spear thing.
Yeah, yeah, in the
That would have
spirit.
been dope. But
I
I guess
think
it'll happen.
this is next year, right? Next year.
Yeah, yeah.